Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It's Tuesday, it's June 16th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And really good uptrend. Notice the first leg up, and then there's a nice two-legged correction in there, and then another leg up. And normally, what I'll do is I'll measure this first leg, and we got it real. Oops. Measure that first leg. That's close enough, and then once you start the uptrend again, you're going to use that for a possible target. We didn't quite get there. Once we reached this 2087, 88 area, it just flattened out and we stayed in a range. But it was time for it to come back to the other side of the trend line and reset basically. And once it did, it started moving higher again. But of course, we ran out of time. So, um, but pretty straightforward day. There's probably a bigger trend here if you want to draw the lines. I haven't tried to draw them. You really don't need them. Um, Something like this probably. Just see how it fits off real quickly. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably something there, but you really don't need it. You got the clear trend up, then the two-legged correction, and then you get another clear trend up from there. And that's generally how I will play it, the more shorter term ones. And there's short-term trend lines in here as well. Um, and there's probably a midline in this one, but you really don't need it. You get the two. And the good thing about this is both of these would have given you runners. And this one would have given you a runner. This one would have given you a runner. And even this one, I believe. And you could have ridden these all the way to the top. So on a trend day like this, try to hold on to your runners, especially off the trend line. So not a lot of entries today. There's actually a possible short right here. I don't recommend taking it, uh, but I'll go ahead and mark it and we'll talk about it. But this failed second entry short. Notice the move down. You got a new low, pull back first entry, pull back second entry, and look how we shot right through the EMA and then pulled back. This is a classic reversal pattern, a failed second entry. It confirms this trend line right here. It's the third touch. It is a first entry, but it's that trap, and this is usually a sure thing that's going higher. And look at it go. Any runners would have been safe. Then it pulls back, and there's kind of a double top there, so this is like a little breakout pullback long. Plus you got resistance from the overnight low, but it bounces right off the trend line again, and it goes lower first and then turns and goes out the high side. Just go long right there. Um, and look at it go. This was the trade of the morning. And if you just caught both of these and exited as soon as you got your first break lower, you would have made pretty good money on just those two. And then it touches the top, pulls back first entry, pulls back second entry. This is not a beautiful signal bar. It is right off the EMA. If you'd waited on this one, you're way too late, and you would have got stopped out. But in this particular case, if you went long right above the red bar or either waited on the limit order, you would have gotten out. And notice it did pull back, and it would have filled the limit order back down to maybe just to the height of that red bar. And if you do either one of those, you're okay. And then make this a little bigger. Move this out of the way. Notice there's a first entry, pull back. There's a second entry long, and it pulls back and it tries to go higher one more time. That's like a double test of that high and a triple test of that high, and it turns down. So if you're wanting to be aggressive, you could go short there. The only problem is that's the first break of this nice trend up, and we don't have a retest of the high yet, so it's probably coming. So that's a fairly risky entry. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and circle one more here. I would prefer to enter down here versus up there. And this one, you almost even want to make this blue because these are the trades, if you catch, you can oftentimes ride them all the way off this one, this one break lower. But notice the little channel. You got the break, the move to a new low. You've got your first leg down, and there's two legs in this first leg. Pull back, correction, or move down, pull back, correction, then move down. And if you measure, you can see we way overshot that. we're way away from the EMA, and notice how it went lower first and turned and went out the upper side. That's generally a pretty good trade. I'm going to mark it green because it is a little aggressive. You need to know what you're doing. You need to really understand price action before you want to take those kind of trades, because you can get caught up in a big move down and it just keeps going. So, but anyway, you got a new low here. Notice this. You got a pullback, first entry short, pullback, and there's a second entry short right there. And look at that big bearish bar. And people are thinking shorts now, but they don't understand what's going on. And when that turns down and fails and turns up, you just have you a stop waiting there. That was a quick, easy move. It pulls back and gives you one more chance, and this confirms the new trend line. Notice those first two swings set it. This one confirms it. A nice bullish bar. You could have even used a limit order there, but I just use a stop because you don't want to miss that move, and sometimes it'll just take off. This time it did pull back a little bit before it took off. And again, any runners are safe. Then pull back. Then there's a first entry, pull back, second entry right off the trend line, the EMA. It looked like the midline was going to send us lower. So, but that's a nice trap right there. Another great move up. And then you get the failed second entry short, and you're not quite to the high. This one I went back and forth about whether or not to make it green, but this is a pretty strong trend, and you're looking for a measured move most likely, and there is a shorter term trend line kind of working right up through there like so. So I like that one. And then notice the new high, pullback, first entry, pullback, and there's another second entry long right there. We've touched the upper trend line now, so it's getting a little more risky, but it does meet the criteria if you want to be aggressive to go long, and it would have worked. And then I didn't mark anything. There's another second entry long right here. I don't believe this one would have worked unless you used a limit order and tried to get in a tick or so better. I think it would have been a 4-tick failure or something. But really, it's right into there's still time in the day. Usually our cutoff is about 2 o'clock. So you still would have had time. But if you didn't enter here, if you did enter here, I would have taken what it would give me right in here when it started stalling again. And I wouldn't have entered anything else once you realize you're in that little tight range. Because the odds are, what it is, we're headed back over to the trend line to reset, but there's not enough momentum, people willing to sell it off, so it doesn't go down, but it can't go up either because there's not people willing to buy. So you just kind of get hung in limbo. And that's kind of common in a strong trend. You don't really see a pullback to the trend line. You just see a trading range that shoots over to it. Then it kind of, once it touches, starts moving higher again. So pretty good day. Again, not a lot of entries, but the ones that are there are pretty good, especially all the blue ones. A couple more green ones that I marked that if you were, like I said, if you're being a little more aggressive, that you could take. But you only needed to catch 1 or 2 of these, and especially if you're using runners and you're in good shape. So pretty straightforward day. Nothing really out of the ordinary today. So I hope you recognize the trend and got on board with it and didn't try to fight it. And I mean, really on these trend days, you can't hardly, I mean, really from this point on, if you bought any pullback, even if you waited up in here, you couldn't hardly go wrong. You rarely get stopped out. The only place you really could have gotten tripped up was right in here. Because you had a pretty good pullback right there, or correction right there. So, but these aren't really pullbacks. Here's your pullback, and that one worked. And then here's your next pullback, and that one worked. So if you really just waited on any correction or pullback and bought, that's what you do on trend days. Wait on a correction, and especially when you get real tight, straight up, lots of little dojis and all, and it just keeps following these shorter term lines. Those are almost sure things on every correction. So not much else we can say about today. Just a good day, good trading day, good solid trend. And just a reminder that I'll be leaving for vacation on Friday, and so if you have anything critical or important, get with me before Friday, because I'll be taking off Friday and I'll be gone for the whole following week. I'll be out of the country, so I'll be limited on my email and probably slow to answer. Um, so if you got any emergencies or anything, go ahead and send it to me. I will be able to get my email occasionally, but I'll be slow to answer. And if it's not critical, I probably won't answer it till I get back. So, and I'll ask you to people to maybe hold most of your emails until I get back, unless it's something critically important, problem with a download on your manual or anything like that. So, uh, but otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up for today. We'll be back to do it again tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.